How you doing?
Good. Nice.
What's your name?
Vic. Nice.
What's the most protected thing by the Fourth Amendment?
Your home.
Come on out here for me. You're under arrest.
What if that person who is wanted for a felony is standing in their doorway?
I remember hearing about this.
What do you think?
That was a violation.
United States versus Santana is going to be our next case. This one happened in 1974, so this is a little bit closer. This is only 2 years after the event itself. But there is an undercover Philadelphia narcotics guy. He sets up a heroin buy with Patricia McCafferty. So he'd bought drugs from her before, so he knew that she was going to be able to get him drugs. So he hits up McCafferty, and he's like, "Hey, I want to buy some heroin." And McCafferty says, "Great, I'd love to sell you some heroin."
That's in fact the business I'm in.
Yes. How convenient. I have some heroin for sale. She says that will cost $115 American.
It's a lot of heroin back then, actually.
And quote, "We will go down to Mom Santana's house for the dope." So the Philly officer detective lets the supervisors know hey, I'm going to go buy some dope from McCafferty. And so he takes $110 in marked bills, and they note the serial numbers on all of the bills. So he goes and he meets McCafferty at a prearranged location. She gets in the car and directs him to Santana's house. And so once they get to Santana's house, McCafferty takes the money. She goes inside the house, and she briefly stops to talk to an individual named Alejandro on the front porch of the residence. Put a pin in that because that's going to get kind of important. So McCafferty takes the marked bills, goes up to the house, briefly talks with Alejandro on the front porch, then goes inside the house. She comes out a short time later and gets back into the car. So the Philly detective is like, "Hey, do you have my dope?" She says, "Yep." And so she reaches into her bra, takes out some envelopes containing a brownish white powder substance and gives it to him. So they get in the car, they drive away a couple blocks. Excuse me,
You're right over there.
I'll be all right. So a couple blocks later, the Philly detective pulls the car over and he whips out his badge. He's like, "Gotcha. I'm a cop and you're under arrest."
Idiot.
So
I believe a Chappelle show skit back in the day.
Yeah.
"Gotcha, bitch."
That is immediately what came to my mind.
Okay. That's what I also did. And that's
Yes.
as old as this case now.
Yeah, it is. So he asks McCafferty, he says, "Where's money?" And she says, "Santana's got the money." So officer calls up his sergeant, gives him the envelope and lets him know, "Hey, she said the money is at Santana's house." So he takes McCafferty, he being the detective, takes her to jail. The sergeant, a couple other officers get ready to go hit the house to go make contact with Santana.
But not write a search warrant for it.
They did not write a search warrant, nor did they write an arrest warrant for Santana.
Because in the doctrine of I don't have enough time, they chose that they didn't have enough time.
Or
the money could be gone.
Or
he's going to spend it.
That's a fairly
Maybe they knew
she's going to spend it.
She's going to spend it.
Right? Mom Santana. So anyways, they drive up to the house and they park within 15 feet of the front door is what the case says. And Santana is standing in the doorway.
He said, "This isn't good."
And so
nope, don't like this.
The sergeant and all the officers jump out of the van. So they're a bunch of jump out boys on Santana, who's standing in the doorway of her residence. And they shout "police," and they're displaying their identification. So they go to snatch up Santana, and she retreats into the vestibule of her house. They follow into the vestibule of the house. And when
it has a little
like a small entry point foyer, I guess would be another word for it. But she goes into the vestibule of the house. They follow her. They put hands on her. She tries to pull away, and she fumbles a bag that she had been holding. And when she fumbles that bag, 2 bundles of glazed paper packets with a white powdery substance inside fall to the floor.
Not glazed donuts, because they might have been distracted by that.
So Alejandro stands up and he tries to pick up the dropped envelopes and he tries to take off.
Bold move, cop.
Yeah, didn't work out. So they get Alejandro stopped as well. And so they arrest Santana without a warrant and search her incident to arrest. And in her pockets, she had 135 American dollars.
So she had been doing some other little work.
70 of which was the undercover detective's marked bills.
69 of it?
70.
Oh, okay.
Precisely. So the white powder in the bag was later determined to contain heroin, believe it or not. So they
pre-fentanyl days.
Yeah. So they filed an indictment against everybody. So they charged McCafferty with distribution of heroin. They charged everybody with possession of heroin. And they charged Santana with possession of heroin with intent to distribute as well. So McCafferty pled guilty. She knew old Patricia.
She was screwed.
Yeah, old Patricia knew she was hemmed up. So she pled guilty, but Santana and Alejandro moved to suppress the heroin and the money found during and after their arrests. Why did they want to suppress that?
Because they don't want to go to prison.
They don't want to go to prison. So the district court granted the motion to suppress. They said this was no good. And then
on the grounds of
that they couldn't have arrested Santana without a warrant. They couldn't have done what they did without a warrant.
They didn't like where they did it.
Correct.
Okay.
And
the manner.
Right. So it goes up to the Court of Appeals. The Court of Appeals affirmed the district court's opinion. They said, no, you can't do this. This is no good. And
it's wild that the district attorney is pushing it this hard for a little bit of heroin.
Yeah, well, it says envelopes, so I don't know specifically how much it was, but I would imagine it's a.
She's just holding a fucking.
The interesting thing was that when the Court of Appeals agreed with the district court, they rendered no opinion of their own. They just affirmed the lower case.
They said, "You're good.
You're not.
We
good.
hate this so much." That
yeah, correct. Yes,
the court being you're good.
Yes. So then it makes it all the way up to the Supreme Court of the United States. What do you think they said?
They also said no.
They said this was good to go.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they said this was good to go.
Chasing her through her house?
Into the vestibule of the house.
That's where the activity of home life extends.
Well, we're going to get into that, and you're never going to believe what cases they use to support their decision. The first case that they use to support their decision is United States versus Watson. Believe it or not, there's a method to the madness here. So the Supreme Court held
very different circumstances.
Yes, but the Supreme Court held that Santana, while standing in the doorway of her house, was a public place for purposes of the Fourth Amendment, since she was not in an area where she had any expectation of privacy.
It's different than our entire discussion last episode.
It's not. Listen. So she was not merely visible to the public, but was exposed to public view, speech, hearing, and touch as if she had been standing completely outside of her house, because it's the front door.
Okay.
So a Girl Scout could have walked to exactly where she was.
Sell her crappy cookies.
So they said that, hey, when she was standing in the doorway, she was essentially standing in a public place. To justify that, guess what case they used? Hester. So they said,
wrong case.
What a
I guess the other ones we talked about, it came later.
Yeah. Since she was not, quoting Hester, they said, since she was not merely visible to the public, but exposed to public view, speech, hearing, and touch, as if she'd been standing completely outside.
Weird
of her
way
house,
to phrase it.
And referenced Hester. So they also said that what a person knowingly exposes to the public, even in his own house or office, is not a subject of the Fourth Amendment protection. Remember when we talked about last episode that you don't have to shield your eyes if you're legally allowed to stand where you are, right? So they quoted another case.
I assume that wasn't what they were really arguing to begin with. It was when she retreated and the pursuit thereafter.
Correct. You are correct.
Did flight invite pursuit into her house?
There it is. So the last bullet point I want to hit on the public place is that they said, quote, thus, when the police, who concededly had probable cause to do so, so probable cause exists, when they sought to arrest her, they merely intended to perform a function that we had already approved in Watson, which is an arrest in a public place. By retreating into a private place, Santana could not, quote, defeat an otherwise proper arrest that had been set in motion in a public place.
Set in motion.
Yeah, since there was a need to act quickly to prevent the destruction of evidence that you talked about, and there was true hot pursuit, they said it was good to go. And they went on and they referenced a whole bunch of other cases too, and saying that, yeah, in this particular case, you do actually have fresh pursuit. And they mentioned that fresh pursuit does not have to start out in public somewhere, as long as it starts in public. And they said, essentially, since she was standing in her doorway, which was open to public view, the arrest process started there. And when she retreated in the home, they were
It was in motion.
It was in motion.
The train had begun
Correct.
to go.
Yes, and it cannot be undone just because she jumped into the vestibule of her house.
All right.
So, Supreme Court reversed.
Oof.
All right. So, we have decided that an arrest without a warrant for a felony offense in a public place is good to go. We've also decided that the threshold of a front door is considered a public place for the purposes of the Fourth Amendment. So, using the justification that was set forth in Watson, Santana decided that's also good to go.
That's the case, and that's the rule. If you'd like to see the full video breaking this topic down, make sure you click the video here. And make sure you subscribe for more nuts and bolts editions right here. Thanks for watching.